Hey guys, welcome to Wizenheimer. My name is Karthik, and in today's video we're going to look at a very interesting game played between the Mozart chess Magnus Carlsen and Geir Tallaksen, a Norwegian FIDE master at that time and currently an international master. This game was played in July 2005 and Magnus was only 14 years old. Carlsen opened the game with knight f3, the ready opening, but after knight f6, c4, e6, d4 and b6, this position is transposed into the Queen's Indian defense. G3 by Carlsen going for the Fianchetto variation, bishop a6, b3 supporting the c pawn, and now b5. The quiet line of the Nimzowitsch variation, not so often played nowadays, as after c captures on b5 and bishop captures on b5. Now it has this move knight c3 with the tempo on the bishop. But here Carlsen decided to go bishop g2, getting this bishop in this nice diagonal. So Geir closes it with d5, castles by Carlsen, knight b descent, and now knight c3 with the tempo on the bishop. Bishop back to e6 and rook to e1. A very good move by Carlsen, getting this rook out of this diagonal and even preparing e4. Bishop to d6 by Geir, bishop to b2, castles, and now e4. A little bit too hasty by Carlsen. This is not a mistake or any positional blunder or anything of that kind. This is just a slight inaccuracy. What Carlsen could have done is something like rook to c1, and now that all of Carlsen's pieces are developed, this rook is in this amazing semi-open c file. Carlsen can open the center with e4, but after the immediate e4, Geir happily opened the center with a series of exchanges, and now bishop to b7, getting this bishop in this amazing diagonal with the tempo on the rook. And again, what Carlsen could have gone for is something like rook to e3, but here he really wanted to go very aggressive on his opponent and played rook to h4. But this gets very unclear, as after bishop e7 by Geir, rook h3 and knight f6, Geir nicely defends his king side, and this rook on h3 is somewhat awkward on the square and is really doing nothing. Carlsen here continues with queen to e2, so need to get his rook in the game soon. Bishop to d5 and now rook to e1. This is a real positional mistake, as right now black has this move a5, and doesn't really matter what white plays, a4 is coming up, and this a pawn can never really move as the b pawn will be hanging, and after a4 black will just open up the a file, get his rook in the second rank. Not really a pleasant position for white, but in this position black missed a5 and went queen to b8 with ideas of getting the queen to b7, knight to e4, queen to b7, bishop captures bishop, queen captures bishop, and now Carlsen plays queen to c2. A very sneaky idea. It attacks the c pawn and even eyes this h7 square at the same time. And now Geir goes c5, exactly what Carlsen wanted. And Carlsen leaves no more chances for his opponent. He directly jumps into the attack with knight to g4, sacrificing this knight, but really not a free knight, as after knight captures on g4, queen h7 will be checkmate. So of course Geir is not going to fall for it. Here he plays h6, rook to e5 by Carlsen, getting all of his pieces in the game, queen to f3, and now the really nice move by Carlsen, knight captures on h6 with check, forcing black to go g captures on h6 and weaken his king side. As if black declines his offer and goes king to h8, then it's just a simple checkmate. After knight g4 check, king g8, knight into h6 is just crushing. Doesn't really matter, you captured with the bishop, you captured with the queen, you captured with this pawn, queen h7 checkmate is gonna come. So after knight captures on h6 check, black went, g captures on h6, and now rook captures on h6, threatening rook g5 checkmate. So king g7, and this is the position that Carlsen really had to calculate before giving up his knight. So do feel free to pause the video and find the absolute best move for white, and even the best continuation after that move. Okay, congratulations to all those who got it. It is rook to g5 check, giving up this entire rook. King captures on rook, only move, and now a quiet move, but the only move that wins the game, bishop to c1. The king has no escape from all the possible discoveries from this rook. C captures on d4 by Geir. There is not really much he can do in this position. Rook g4 check, and now queen to e3. A nice try by Geir. as if Carlsen is not careful in this position and just takes this queen, Geir will just go knight captures on g4, and suddenly black is better in this position. He has two rooks, he has a bishop, he has a knight for a queen and a bishop. And even after a move like he captures on d4 check, king g7 will just leave white with no more counterplay chances. So of course Carlsen is not gonna fall for it. Here he goes rook to h4 check. Nice move. Knight to h5, blocking the check, and now rook captures on h5 check. King captures on h5, and now not going for the queen immediately, but first queen to h7 check. King to g4, and only now f captures on e3. Here Geir goes rook a c8 to get his rooks in the game with the tempo on this bishop, but Carlsen really does not care. He just goes king to g2, and Geir accepts the sacrifice. It's very important to notice that rook to c2 check is not a possibility. The queen nicely keeps an eye on the square. So after rook captures on c1, it's just game over. h3 check, king to g5, queen to g7 check. Black has two options, king to h5, king to f5. If king to h5, then g4 check, king h4, and queen h6 will be checkmate. So after queen g7 check, Geir went king to f5, g4 check, king to e4, and now queen captures on d4, checkmate. Really nice checkmate right in the center of the board, and a really nice game. Hope you all enjoyed it, and if you all did, do drop a thumbs up, comment down your views and suggestions down in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.